Today we're reacting to TikTok business advice. For those of you who don't know, my name is Rohrer. I'm a public speaker. I own and have scaled multiple companies, and I'm a consultant to a lot of large organizations. And my goal is to get rid of all the noise for you so that you can know what's actually going to be effective for you in your life and in your career. Let's get right into it. All right, we got Chris here for this one. Let's hear what he has to say.
Well, my daughter said this, Dad, how much would college cost? And I go, I don't know, 25 to 50 grand a year with housing and everything, maybe more. And she's like, why don't people put that into equities in crypto? If parents were to put, let's say, 4-year college degree cost 200 grand, what if they just seeded and put that in the stocks and crypto? And that money keeps making the money in real estate. It's crazy. Well, my daughter said this.
Yeah, I mean, no, she didn't. Like if my daughter, I mean, maybe we're at different ages, but if my daughter came up to me at 4 years old and said, Dad, why don't people, how much does college cost? No. And his proposition here is, instead of paying for college, just take the money you would have paid for college and just throw it into an investment fund. I mean, there's probably some math to that, to be fair. It's just that you're not going to get the same advantage career-wise stepping out of college, depending on the degree. 200 grand into an investment account at 18 years old, there is something to that would absolutely work. Did his daughter actually say this? Very unlikely. Should you do that in crypto? Personally, no, I don't think so. I think that crypto, you need to pretend like the money is gone when you invest money into crypto, just because it's not something that is universally recognized just yet. So that's kind of my take on it. I stay away from it in general, just because I want to put my money into things that are a little more proven and a little more safe. But what investment isn't unsafe? But what, you're not gonna be able to go take out a loan from the government for this. So I would say the logic might be there. And if you have the 200 grand in cash, sure, throw it into an investment account. But most people don't. They're taking loans to go to school so that they can level up and so that they can improve their life. So I disagree, ultimately. Disagree. Okay, next. Oh, buddy, here he is. I've seen this. Here we go.
Day is 6 a.m. to noon, and I'm not crazy. You're crazy for thinking it takes 24 hours, just like some dude in a cave did 300 years ago.
People didn't live in caves 300 years ago, just for the record. It was the 1700s. It was the height of the Industrial Revolution 300 years ago.
Second day starts at noon and goes till 6 p.m. That's day 2. And then the next day is 6 p.m. to midnight. What I've done now is I have changed and manipulated time. I now get 21 days a week. Stack that up over a month, I'm gonna kick your butt. Stack it up over a year, you're toast. Stack it up over 5 years, my entire life is different than it would have been otherwise. My day is...
I guess I can understand the mentality of, you're just explaining working longer is all you're doing. You're just saying work longer. Calling it 3 days doesn't give you more days in a week. And people didn't live in caves 300 years ago. So you're just working longer. And yeah, I mean, there probably is also, again, probably a little bit of truth to, if you work a little bit longer, if you own the business, if you work longer and you're working for somebody else's business, you're probably not getting too much further ahead. I have employees sometimes that will say, oh, I want to extend my hours and then take additional time off some other day of the week. Sometimes that does make sense. Yeah, you're working an extra hour, an extra 2 hours, for sure. But working for yourself longer, yeah, there are studies that go into like, yeah, the entrepreneurs that work on the weekends or through the weekends, they end up selling their companies for a lot more. So there is something to that. If you own the business, be ready to work. I do agree with it from that standpoint, but I think ultimately my day is 6 to noon to 6, and 6 to midnight is silly. so maybe let's disregard the philosophy, but ultimately, yes. Do you need to work hard in order to be successful? Sure, if you're working for yourself. Next. Okay, 10-year-olds investing 500 grand.
I know a family that gave their kids $500,000 a year to invest when they were 10 years old. Before you think I'm crazy, hear the story. So here's the rules. They're 10 years old, they get $500,000 a year to invest, and they have to get 8% or more a year to get it again. They were investing in diversified stocks, insurance, duplexes in real estate, private companies. If they hit the mark, they got it again. If they didn't get it the next year. They had to take a year off, be with a personal financial coach, and learn the lessons to apply the following year. And by the time they're 18, they were able to use the interest earned on those investments for college, travel, missions, their first home, and many of them used it for even more investments for the rest of their life. Now, the point is, you don't have to have $500,000. Maybe it's just a couple hundred or a few $1,000s a year. But what I've seen in this family now is a few decades later, they have their own children. These are the most savvy investors, the most disciplined thinkers. They're some of the most humble and kind people and generous people that I've ever met. It's an unbelievable way to teach your kids investing. Real life results and application. It's way better than having some college account that you're just pumping money into their whole life, only for them to go below it and not actually care. You want them to earn so that they can learn.
This never happened, by the way. Okay, you get 500 grand. This did not happen. You get 500 grand, but if you don't get 8% return, then you don't get 500 grand the next year, and you have to work with a financial consultant. Like, why not just work with a financial consultant the whole time? Anyway, I understand the premise of you should teach your kids financial literacy. This is such a silly example. And at the end of that 500 grand a year for 8 years straight, they would have $4 million in the bank, period. I mean, yes, you could use the dividends to go to college, but you could also just, for less than 10% of what's in the account, you could just pay for college outright for 4 years straight. And likely this guy is just selling something. Every single time they're selling something. We got Chris 2 for 1 today. Let's see.
You should never pay off your house. Here's your house. It's worth $100,000. That's what this stack is worth. And you've been told by Dave Ramsey and other people, I got to get my house paid off because I'm going to be financially free. False. Most people will accelerate getting their house paid off by throwing extra money on their 30-year mortgage. And maybe after 20 years you do it. You finally wipe it out. You own your house free and clear. I got news for you. What do you have for retirement? You got nothing for retirement because you put all your focus in getting your house paid off. Instead, mortgage that house, access the majority of this money. You know what I'd use it for? I'd go buy 5 more houses. Imagine those first 5 houses are each cash flowing $500 a month. But a few years later, you're gonna sell those 5 for 15 more. You're gonna sell those 15 for 50 more. Now imagine $500 coming off of every one of those houses. How many houses do you need to cover all of your expenses for the rest of your life? You could manage those homes yourself, or you could just hire a property management company, and guess what? They'll do all of it for you. Now go ahead and pay off your house if you want. But until that happens, don't. It'll be the biggest mistake of your life.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. Okay. If you have a massive income already, then it is much easier to make something like this happen, where if you're investing into tons and tons and tons of real estate. But if you hire that property management company, they're going to be taking 30% of the revenue, I believe 30%. Let me check. Where you at, ChatGPT? Let's see really quick. How much revenue does the average company take when they're managing your rentals? I think it's 30%. Let's see. Again, this is ChatGPT. We'll see how accurate it is. Long-term rentals, they don't take a cut of revenue. Instead, they charge a management fee as a percentage of rent collected. Okay. 8 to 12% of monthly rental income is the industry standard. National average is 8%. Okay, so I stand corrected. Not 30%. It is 12%, which is still a decent little line item for somebody taking a chunk out of the money that you're making out of this. So is this realistic? Yeah, if you're going to start a real estate business, yes. And maybe that's who he's speaking to. Maybe that's who his audience is. But if it's the average person, which is who Dave Ramsey talks to, Dave Ramsey's not talking to business owners, because you asked Dave Ramsey how he became successful, and it was not real estate even. It wasn't real estate. It wasn't saving his way to the top. It was launching a billion-dollar business is what made him rich. But he speaks to the layman. He speaks to the average person who is working. It is valuable to get those interest rates down on your house and get that thing paid off at some point. It is valuable. So no, I think it's a bit of an L take for the average person. If you're a business owner, I mean, my philosophy on home ownership, and I mean, I'll be transparent, like part of us getting our house was part of like an inheritance. It was part of a family member passing away, and part of the will was that they wanted to help us put a down payment on our first house, which was awesome. But that is not accessible to everybody. And if I didn't get that, I would likely be renting and saving all the extra cash and reinvesting it into our business. So I would say it is valuable to get that out of the way. But if you're a business owner, I mean, I understand the idea of just reinvesting all the cash towards the asset that's growing for you. So L take for the average consumer. Maybe a W take for a actual real estate investor, which I don't think he is, so I don't know why he's giving advice on it, and a medium take for somebody who's a business owner. All right, caption says the youngest billionaire. Let's see.
What's your net worth now?
I'm a billionaire. Some people ask me that same question, and I'm like, I am a billionaire. Because let's think about it. Does a billionaire have a liquid $1 billion in his bank account?
No.
Is he actually a billionaire? No. Like liquid billionaire? No, I'm not a liquid billionaire yet. Probably will be mathematically soon. But I'm a billionaire because number one, let's just say I can make, let's just call it like 500 to $1 million a month. That's like 12 mil a year. You do like a money calculator since it's like a hedge fund style thing.
You just do like a money calculator because it's like a hedge fund style thing. And that's, imagine pitching this to a banker saying, hey, I need a loan because I could make 500 grand to $1 million a month. And if you could just pull out your calculator and do like a hedge fund style thing, then you'll find that I'm actually a billionaire. Let's see.
thing. We're already in the hundreds of millions of just me, that the money I can generate and the money that I make.
What's your net?
We went from 12 million a year to hundreds of millions because you just do like a little calculator hedge fund style thing. Okay. What's crazy is like there are people in these comments that are like, wow, bro, keep the hustle going. And people like this have influence. It's shocking to me. Shocking to me. Yeah, mathematically, I'll be a liquid billionaire soon. That's crazy. Next. All right, let's see.
Wanted to make $1 million. That was their dream in life. What would you recommend to them?
Anyone can really become a millionaire because like the world is so big and the markets are so massive. All you got to do is get $1 from 1 million people out of like 8 billion. If you just walk around every single day asking for $1, you can get to $1 million pretty easily. So like imagine if you actually worked hard. It's actually, not that difficult. I think the hardest part is figuring out what is it that you have about your personality, your skill set that can actually get you there, because you can waste your time in a lot of ways that don't get you anywhere.
Wanted to make $1 million.
Big example of a time waster would be walking up to people individually and asking them for $1 million. You have to go up to 1 million people. It's crazy. However, the premise is fairly accurate. It is not unbelievably difficult to make $1 million. I would say it is difficult to profit $1 million. To get $1 million bucks, like that's tough. But what I'll say here is that yes, it's easier than you think, but it's not this easy. It's simpler than you think. It's just not this easy. If you want to make $1 million, yes, you could sell a $1 thing to 1 million people, but that's a lot of people. 1 million customers. A lot of the people I work with, a lot of the med spas, the plastic surgeons, they're like happy to have had 4,000 customers over the course of their business, 9,000 customers over the course of their business. And they're making millions, off of that small of a customer base. So I think it's probably a little oversimplified, just sell a dollar product to 1 million people. But I do agree. It is a lot easier than most people think. Or a lot more simple than most people think to make $1 million or to get up to $1 million. But I think we aren't focusing enough on that. You do have to put in the work. Next. All right, let's see. Things that I will never do as a business owner.
It's best to learn it yourself and then outsource it if you need to. These are the things I will never do as a business owner. I have started, grown, and sold multiple businesses over the last 10 years. Number one is to expect my friends to buy from me. If I have a
great take. I will not, expecting your friends. I think a lot of people say, oh man, you want a customer list, just send it to your friends. It's like you are immediately putting this weird pressure on your family and your friends. I think your friends should support you. That does not mean that they have to buy from you. I think your friends should support you and be excited for you and all of that. That does not mean they have to buy from you. And all the people that say that, oh, just text all your friends and family. I don't know. It just turns the relationship weird because now they feel like they're letting you down by not buying from you, but maybe they can't afford it, So yes, I think other people, when they say like, oh, just text all your friends and family, I don't know. I was in multi-level marketing, was the very first business, and I should make a whole video about this. I was in multi-level marketing as my very first business. I was an independent contractor, more or less, but you're considered an independent business owner. And that's the very first recommendation: go talk to all your friends and all your family. But what happens? It alienates all those relationships immediately, especially if you don't do it right. So totally agree. Next, keep going.
Legitimate business with great products and great marketing, I do in years. Number one is to expect my friends to buy from me. If I have a legitimate business with great products and great marketing, I do not need or expect my friends to buy from me.
Agreed.
Number two is work with or employ my friends or my family. It is not worth it.
I agree with this. I think, well, no, I don't completely agree with this. A lot of people say you have to work with friends and family. Sorry, little uptime break. Uptime, call me. They're not the sponsors of this video, but they could be. I completely agree with this take. A lot of people think, oh, you have to work with your friends and work with your family. And they say, no, keep it in the family. Man, I'll tell people that think that have the most miserable businesses usually because some of their family just sucks. Whether their family are shysters or whether their family just sucks at their jobs, like don't do that. Now, on the flip side, my mom works for me. My little brother has done work for me. I've done some work for my older brother. Like we all have kind of like done things together. And it can be awesome. My wife works for our company. because we're leveraging good skill sets that each other has for things that we want done, not because we think that we have to. The other thing with friends, a friend of mine told this because we had a good friend that we had hired for our company, and it really did not work out, and it didn't work out in a bad way. And I was meeting with this person's spouse afterwards and was speaking to them, and he said, you should never go into business with somebody that you're not willing to lose. And I think that is super, super true.
Or employ my friends or my family. It is not worth it. It can destroy relationships. Number 3 is celebrity giveaways. They just do not work.
Yeah, I agree with this as well. I think getting a big pop from a celebrity or a massive influencer, working with influencers like nano influencers and micro influencers, I think highly valuable. Working with people who have a 300, 400, 500,000, 600,000 person base, and in fact, the people who have control over their audience or influence over their audience are not the people that you would ever expect. I've got people that pitch themselves to me all the time. Oh, you're going to get so much business by working with me. It's going to be such a pleasure for you. And so you're so lucky. Never once have I gotten a lead or a client or even a business opportunity from those individuals. They are tire kickers and time wasters. However, there's other people that I have sought out because I'm like, you have incredible influence over your audience. I want to do something together, and it has paid massive dividends. So I agree in the sense that it just doesn't work out when you just think, oh, just because I have their face, it works. But when you assess the audience first and then come in, yes, it can.
Number 3 is celebrity giveaways. They just do not work. Don't do it. Number 4 is that I would never be caught dead featured in Vogue or any other luxury magazine. Unless I am the main cover story, I don't want a bar of it.
I think she just this feels like a weird one to add in. It feels like they've just never asked. I would never be featured on Times Magazine. I would never be featured in Times Magazine because they've never asked me to be featured. I'll never be in Forbes. Ever since I sent them an email and said I wanted to be in it and they said no, I'm never going to be in Forbes. Sorry. I don't mean to make fun of you. Sell Anything Online. Sorry, I thought her name was Sell Anything. I'm sorry, Sell Anything Online. I'm sure you would be wonderful in Vogue or luxury magazines. Here's what I'll say though: if you're in my aesthetic medicine niche and watching this, being featured in Vogue is very. I have a friend, which a lot of people know, Brittany Crosdale, who gets featured in Vogue pretty regularly, and it is killer for her SEO, for her PR. Like, it looks great to be featured in some of those things. So it can be valuable if you are going after a luxury niche. This one feels like a weird one. It feels like she's bitter.
It does nothing for sales or your website traffic. Number 5 is controversial, but I would never hire an ads agency. I would definitely hire one to set up all my ads, but not for a monthly ongoing fee. They're actually not that good. It's best to learn it yourself and then outsource it if you need to. These are the things I will never.
It's best to learn it yourself and then outsource it. If you need to who? To an ad agency. What are you talking about? L-take, I think. I think there's a certain scale that you hit where it's like, yes, you could take things internally, but I think hiring an ad agency allows you to be efficient because here's the math that I do in my head. If you are in aesthetic medicine specifically, let's say you have your practice manager and let's say even number, you're paying them $100,000 a year. Probably a little more than the average practice manager, but I want a nice even number. That practice manager, you're paying $100,000 a year to grow and scale operations within your clinic. Now, if that practice manager, let's say you're making, again, an even number, $1 million a year when you hire this practice manager, and you say to the practice manager, hey, our sales conversion rate is currently a 28%. 28% of leads are turning into appointments. You need to beef that number up. So 28% of leads are turning into appointments. And if you're able to turn that 28%, the current benchmark in the industry is 55%. And so if they're able to take that 28, turn it into 55%, they have nearly doubled. In fact, they will have doubled the revenue of the business. So the business was at $1 million, it would have been at $2 million the following year because they doubled their conversion rate, no additional marketing. So that practice manager just made them $1 million. If during that time they were paying for marketing and the practice manager said, ooh, I'm gonna manage the marketing, I'm gonna manage it myself. And let's say on the high end, let's say they were paying $40,000 a year for marketing, or let's call it $50,000 a year for marketing between ad spend and hiring the agencies. And the practice manager takes it on. Well, that 50,000 was making $1 million already. So that $1 million was already being made because you were working with the ad agency. And the potential revenue growth that practice manager could influence was doubling. It was going to be like from $1 million to $2 million. Now that practice manager who does not know how to market is going to take that $1 million that you were making and turn it into 600 grand, 500 grand. It's going to massively shrink because it's not a pro. So you're losing money typically when you take on marketing internally. Typically, some people I've seen people do it well, but I've just never seen it last. So, and then she's like, hire them to set it up and then just outsource it. It's like you would outsource it to an agency. That's where you outsource it. Maybe she's saying outsource it to a freelancer, but that's still, anyway. So anyway, that's my firm take, is that when you have a practice manager who's just ambitious and says, I can handle all marketing, I just don't think you know what you're signing up for. If you have multi-location clinic, and now we're getting really heavily into aesthetic medicine. If you have multiple locations and you're making $5 million a year, $10 million a year, then yeah, you should have a marketing director on staff, and that marketing director should do some of the marketing stuff. You don't want them to manage the site, like that's a full-time job, and typically they're not a dev. There's certain things you don't want your team to do. It's a waste of their time. So yeah, I agree on a lot of these, disagree on a few of them, and I think we might be a little bitter about Vogue. So that's all of them that I was going to react to today. If you like that, hit subscribe, like this video, send it to somebody who you think will be entertained as well. Some of these business advice is decent, but maybe just a little misplaced. Like the heart is there, but a lot of it, let's avoid it. Okay, sounds good. All right, we'll see you in the next one.